great story, which we've been tracking. Just had to cover it here. It really is just disgusting, and both the response and the actual facts of it. Let's go ahead and put this up there on the screen. Paul Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi's husband, fresh off of his DUI arrest outside of his Napa Valley vineyard, gone ahead and purchased $5 million in stock options last week on a computer chip company ahead of a vote on legislation that would deliver billions of subsidies to boost the chip manufacturing industry. Now, I want to be clear here. I 100% support the CHIPS Act. I think CHIPS is one of the best pieces of legislation in the Senate, and we've been trying to get that thing through for 2 years. There are hundreds of thousands of jobs in the future that are on the line. Ohio, Arizona, Texas. This is the future of the U.S. economy. We need it if we're going to have any sort of real reliance in the future. There's some specifics we can debate on, et cetera, and making sure that China doesn't take advantage. But on its face, it's a great piece of legislation. And this is why I'm so pissed off about it, is because they're undermining the trust in this by going and making clear here that he's using knowledge of what's happening in order to try and make tremendous amounts of money. And as I've already pointed out, Paul Pelosi is well into his 80s. He is an old man. He's also worth at least $100 million, at least, probably north of $250 million. Why? I mean, they take out these massive positions. And also, once again, they're not just buying stock, they're buying options, which are obviously way more lucrative. So he is, if this goes through and it goes well, he's actually set to make even more money than your average trader, millions and millions of dollars on specific bets clearly influenced by government policy, while his wife is the Speaker of the House and obviously has tremendous impact on this legislation. And yet, when she's asked about it, she brushes it off completely and frankly really runs away from the question. Let's take a listen.
Over the course of your career, has your husband ever made a stock purchase or sale based on information he's received from you?
What are you saying?
Over the course of your career, has your husband ever made a stock purchase or sale based on information you've received from you?
No, absolutely not. Okay.
Thank you.
No, absolutely not. Puts the mic down, runs off the stage.
That's the Kamala trick, pretending not to hear the question. I guess in California,
Californians
struggle with their hearing, don't they?
I forgot about this. She was like, what was that? I didn't hear the question. It's like, yeah, you heard the question.
Remember on the Medicare for All question? I didn't understand. I didn't hear the question. Okay, whatever. Anyway, this is actually one of the most egregious. I know we've covered a bunch of these. This is one of the most egregious examples I've seen. And look, yes, publicly available information that this CHIPS deal is active and live and on the table. But it is actually very much in question and doubt. Senate Republicans have been sort of holding it hostage, and it's been very much a big question mark whether this is ultimately going to go through. I would say based on this purchase, Paul Pelosi feels pretty confident that this is ultimately going to get done.
Yeah.
It's, how rich do you want to, come on, don't you have enough money? Could you not just blatantly—
He has a vineyard.
Could you stop just blatantly trading on issues that are of direct concern and impact and in front of your wife in the house right now as we speak? 20,000 shares of NVIDIA. This is a position that is worth between $1 and $5 million. This is not a small amount. This is really significant, sizable chunk of change we're talking about here. Maybe it's nothing to them considering how rich they already are, but it is absolutely grotesque. And the other thing is, remember how a little while ago, there were a lot of talk about, oh, we're gonna have these stock bans. Here's one version of, here's another. We're comparing them. We're figuring out what happened to all of that. What happened to all of that?
Yeah.
Remember her initial response when she was first asked about spouses and members being banned from trading. She was so dismissive.
So we live in a free market?
She said this should be part of the free, we should be able to participate in the free market. That is her true belief and position. Then she sort of, because there was massive bipartisan outrage, she sort of had to walk it back and say, oh, well, if the members want to get together and pass it, I guess I would support that. But has she done anything to move this thing forward? Has she made it a priority? Absolutely not. It's disgraceful. Yeah. It's just disgraceful.
It's a terrible, example of our political system. Whenever this is just routine and, she's a speaker, literally the number 3 in line for the presidency. Awful.
Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.